Welcome, my name is Mike Hamilton from Trade Easyway, and this is our usual Monday 6 p.m. London time review. And I'm just going to go through what I'm seeing in these markets. And as is typical with the markets we've got, I am starting with the dollar and just going to look through this dollar and pick this apart. The reason why I'm interested in this dollar is it is very high. It is very it's coming off the top of this channel here, but the higher this dollar goes, the more damage it can do to markets. Why? Because if money is trying to find a safe haven, trying to find a home away from the markets, then that indicates the appetite for risk is off, and therefore the decline that we've seen in the stock markets could continue and go deeper. If this safe haven comes off the boil, that may give the markets a breather. If we end up just going sideways and hitting this support and then bouncing up, then it looks as if we could be in for some trouble a little bit further down the line. So at the moment, if you look at this weekly chart on the right, you can see we've hit this resistance 11.5. This is the dollar basket, by the way, which is dominated by the euro and the pound. At the moment, we are coming off. But if, like I said, if all we do is come and hit the bottom of this channel and then start to see the buyers come back in, then that means we are storing up for a storm a little bit further down the line. So let's look at what's happening with the pound. And I was suggesting that this was shortable earlier today, if not around this point. Why? Because clearly in a downturn, in a downtrend, the highs are selling. So if we just poke through this trendline resistance and drop back, and subsequently close underneath this level here and lose support here, we are going to come and visit some of these lower levels. Okay, so at the moment, every time so far this year, every time this has poked its head up and looked as if it could wind up, even here, great push to the upside here, only to see that swoon to the downside, another swoon to the downside. So if we subsequently stay underneath this 115 and close under 113, then yeah, expect this to potentially come all the way back down to here and even parity. So is the pound going to parity? Could be, yes. What can you do to trade it? Short the highs. If, however, we turn around and stay above this trendline resistance, then back off. But all the time we are still setting up on the short side, then go ahead and short that. So at the moment we're above this 20-day average. If I just put some more data on here, if you look at the 50-day average, then you'll see we just run straight into it. This is the first time we've tapped into the 50-day average since the first week in August. Yeah, I was suggesting earlier today that this 114 is shortable, and we're still around 114 now. You're going to have a stop above at least 450 if you want to stay in this. Otherwise, leave it till tomorrow. Otherwise, if you want to short this now, go ahead, but you have to stick with it overnight. No reason why you shouldn't stick with it overnight, but any pushback, any pullback into these highs is doable. Right, so what else can I put on there? So I've got trend lines, the 50 and the 20-day average Let's see if that can work. Let's see if we can reject this 50-day average and come back and find the 20-day average down there just above 110. Right, let's move on. Let's look at gold. Come on, gold, show yourself. There we go. We are still under the cosh. We are still not doing. Look at this weekly chart here. Let's just pull the weekly up. The dollar is capping this strength. So all the time we are not holding, then we need to either back off or short it. So we had a huge drop in the gold last week. We have got what I would justifiably call a potential buy signal here, but the highs are still selling. What I'm doing at the moment is I am looking to buy the dips in this gold. We have got this 3-touch trend line coming underneath us. So this week I'm looking to buy around about 1600, 1620. We're currently just under 1660. So if we can dip back into this bar here on the 26th, and though that price level holds, then I think we ultimately wind up above 1670. Then I think we can potentially come and climb back up. Is this a huge bull flag, or is this just in a steady decline? Well, I'm prepared to buy some dips down here. I'll back off if it doesn't work. But in the meantime, if we come back into this 20th September range, you see 1630 is the actual open on the 28th. Well, that would suit me fine. I mean, if we start to hold 1615, 1630, then I will risk a trade down there and see if it can close back up. Otherwise, take it easy and don't get in there too hard and fast. Oil, I was shorting the oil early today, but now I backed off because we started holding 85. Why am I shorting it? Because again, huge drop, decent drop under this channel on the weekly. Seasonally, oil normally takes a rest this time of year anyway. What do I mean by takes a rest? What I mean is it normally gets a decent pullback. So we are in a 1, 2, 3 wave decline here. This pullback has been sold into. So if we can sell here and ultimately break 85, we've got a gap here at 80. So I think there's 5. At some stage that gap's going to be filled. So that's why I'm shorting here to see if that can drop back. Got a couple of screenshots of that somewhere. So trades today. Oh, here we are, editor. So yeah, I started to short this oil at 85.50 roughly, and then what else did I do? Shorted the FTSE for a small intraday move. What I'm looking to do is hoping this goes a little bit higher, maybe. And I did short some. No, that's the oil trade. Okay, sorry, I thought I did. No, that's fine. Move on. Right, let's speed this up because I'm dragging my feet here. So the oil is now under the 50-day average, sitting on 20. but I'm looking for this to come and backfill. Right. Let's look at silver. Silver is under the averages as well. I was very bullish in silver. We had this really nice punch up. Started by pullbacks here and they failed. So I'm just standing aside. I would really love to see this dip right back into this September support. And all the time we are under the averages, then I'm happy to do that. There is a lot of daily support here, but I'm just steering clear of that at the moment. Excuse me. Right, let's get into, I'm going to rip through some UK stocks and cover some US stocks. And I'm going to start with the miners. This Pan-African, which I am in, is just not doing it. I had 2 weeks of lower closes. We did have some decent volume last Friday, but we still closed lower. So I am very cautious about this at the moment. I will end up ditching this if it doesn't work. Just quickly flip through the other ones. Hostile, that's better. That's a nicer chart. Some decent volume came in on there, closed above the 20-day average. We did have a nice buy signal down there on the 26th. So this is performing much better. That Pan-African is just not doing it. So I need to be very careful of that. Griffin, that's had, you look at the weekly chart on the right here, higher pin bar close. This 80 is a big resistance area. Actually, volumes are really tailed off since that 12th. But so be careful. These miners are not performing. They are not great. Sentiment, that's better. That's had decent volume. That's creeping up. Look at that weekly chart though. We've got a couple of weeks where all we're doing is running into a couple of weeks of lower closes. So Sylvania, well, that's decent. Tell you what, the volumes are pathetic though. This is coming up on low volume. If you're in this, be very careful. Right, some commodity brokers. That's really, this is Man Group. Volume, I'm a little bit behind the curve on this one, I have to admit. You know what? I'm gonna back up. I'm not gonna touch that. Don't like, the volumes are improving. No, that's not Man Group. Sorry. I was wrong, I'm getting confused. Right, let's move on for the miners. So bottom line in the miners, be careful. Right, IT, techs, SEE, call this one a couple of weeks back. I said when this volume came in here, we are picking up. So 5 has picked up. We're now into 7.5. It's a speculative stock. I would not chase this. But sometimes, you know, it has done well in the recent past. It's done extremely well up here into 21. When 21 it was great. We pulled right back to the breakup area from 20. If you're interested in this and you like these cheapies, just wait to see if that pulls back to 6. Don't chase it, otherwise you end up buying high and getting stuck. Right, this is the one I'm interested in. We've talked about IQE quite a lot over the last couple of years, and this is perking up again on volume. So the lows down here were 30.31. We just closed above 38. or nearly above 39. I think any pullback to 35, if you see it, if we pop back into this apex, I think that is viable. It's more speculative. This is not a mainstream stock, but if you want to risk some capital on that, then in this market, then that could be the one to watch. I'm going to rattle through this now. Zoo. That's really perked up from £1 into 136. I would see if that can drift back before attempting to look at that one. P-Tech is looking good ever since that big spike. That's a big pin bar at 38.2. No, leave it. I would just leave it. Yeah, the techs are not having a great time, and I admit IQE has some really horrible flat periods. Let's just go back over it a second. Yeah, got very low in May, went on a run, dipped right back in June, went on a run. So it is getting higher highs here. It's worth just looking at this one a little bit longer. It is getting, you know, after so we had a major drop here. Ever since we did this double bottom, we've had higher highs and higher lows. But yeah, I mean, just don't fill your boots on it. It's still holding dark, right? I meant to keep seeing some commentary on that. Let's have a look at dark. What price were you in on dark? Oh, that's just had a nice push up. 398, right. I see a lot of brokers are still calling £6 on this. Recently, that is. Yeah, so if I lower that support level, which is 282, it's not a great stock, is it? It wound up into, wasn't it? There was no takeover talk here, and they backed off. But at the moment, yeah, look at that. It ran right into that 556 resistance. I mean, this recent buying behavior suggests it's got more upside. I mean, that's a decent push up there. So any pullback into 325, I think is definitely viable, with a stop underneath that 279. If it does catch a bid, then you could get through that £6 mark. But you know what, I would just I would just try and grab £5-6. But just be wary, because we're facing this. We're still only climbing back into this huge drop on the 8th, which is, I'm guessing that's whenever we pulled out. Now, what else have I got? This one, I like this one. I've forgotten to revisit this. So we've had in last year we were 570. We are sitting on a huge amount of support back that goes right back to April 21. We're under the averages. The volumes is not great. So I would only start to buy that if we see some higher volumes. We're making an attempt to break up here, but it's feeble. I don't like the lack of support and the follow-through volume, but it is picking up. It is holding up well, but it's not brilliant. Right, no, don't like it. CNC, I can't remember what that one's called. Yuck, I don't know why that's on my list. No, nope. Money supermarket. Yeah, seeing some volume, not great. Right, let's look at quick look at housing. Barrett's trying to pick up. I would not buy this housing market. UK rates are going to continue to climb, and these house bills are going to struggle. Right, let's look at the sector. Let's look at retail. Yeah, how good or bad is this UK market at the moment? Right, we've got boo. It is looking better. That is definitely looking better. It's come from a great height. It wasn't that long ago. This was 375, and here we are at 39p. So be careful. It's not a great stock in a weak sector. Let's look at how looks your Hammerson. Oh, Hammerson's gapped up, right? Well, the obvious place to get into Hammerson. This is retail property, commercial property. Watch out for 16 if that backfills. Otherwise, back off. Shoe zone. I am short this. I'm happy to stay short. I'm still looking for this to fall off. The volumes are pathetic, which is good. It's not finding buyers up there. This is a good sort of bear rating strategy. Find a stock with a major resistance in a very weak sector and sell it. Bricks and mortar retailers, great for bear rating. Card factory, I've given up shorting this. I've made some money out of it. I'm leaving it. Royal Mail Group, sacking 6,000 staff to try and get profitability back. Leave it. ASOS, this is ASOS, isn't it? Very weak. Not showing buyers. So right, we just look at the big boys. I'll move on. Sainsbury's, yeah, picking up on volume. Tesco, it's only just about managed to get into the 20-day average. It is picking up buyers, but wow, you can see on this weekly, we've still got a gap fill at 185, so that could so easily come back and fill that gap. Let's look at the airlines. EasyJet. My family have been using EasyJet recently. I tell you what, they are definitely squeezing the bucks out of travellers now. The cost of even a half decent amount of luggage is quite high, and they're selling you insurance. So they're you know what? If you want to get anything in this sector, EasyJet. If you want exposure to the consumer, I think this EasyJet is the way to go. We're coming up on volume, very nice closes. I would wait for 2.95, £3 if you're interested. IAG, that's ahead of the game. That's definitely ahead of the game. Oil's coming down. Oil always benefits these guys for obvious reasons. Next, sorry, Primark. Yeah, it's doing it. Not interested though. Right. Energy. Let's go through these oils. Tallow. Yuck. Looks lower. Looks like we're going to come and see 35, maybe lower. This iGas. Gas, this is a good sign. I forgot to look at gas. Let me just quickly go and look at gas. Right, marine systems. We'll look at that in a second. Natural gas, yeah, is weakening. Right on trend line support. Okay. I am very interested in that. I was looking to see if that could come down to 57.50. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. So that, back to energy, that is definitely keeping this iGas down. This is a good way of trading gas, this one. I've not actually investigated it, but it is following the price of gas very closely. So if we see any turnaround in the gas price, that could be a good way of looking into it. I'll come up to that SRT in a second. GKP, lower, square, lower, BP, lower. So the oil stocks are not doing it. Right. Basic materials, and then I'm going to, right, gem diamonds. Yeah, that's a buy signal, new low, close above, double bottom at 29. Volumes are lousy. Keep an eye on gem diamonds. I think that this is Man Group. Getting myself very confused. Right. Okay. I think this is. I like this stock. We've been as high as 270. Pulled back to a major support level. Volumes are picking up. I think that Man Group's got some juice. Needs to do some further work on it, but I like Man Group. TP ICAP. We'll wait for that to gap fill. I think you might see 172 gap fill. That's been on a huge run. Elementis. It's coming up on decent volume. Right. Glencore. Needs a pullback. It's a good stock, but that needs a pullback. Rio. Yeah, that's a key line of the sand. I think Rio can possibly move up from here. Very, very handsome volume came in today. I tell you what, I would much rather that closed above 49. I would much rather wait for that and buy at a higher price than buy down here. Right, SRT. Is there a story behind this? Very gappy stock. Okay, you're taking a small punt. Okay. Very, very gappy stock. If you want to take a punt and you're not in it, I would see if you can get 25, 20 share mag. Okay. I had a feeling you were going to say something like that. If that pulls back, I would risk some capital if you're interested in it, but it's not for me. Right. I'm going to leave it there. Anything you want me to look at? Anything else I've seen? Let's look at. It's worth looking at some of these. The CCJ uranium. Melrose. Okay, I think this. It's a really gappy stock, so it's got to be very careful with stocks like that one. FLR is a good one. Nvidia. Nvidia closes here on that volume, I think it's really trying to form a base there, Nvidia. Right, Melrose, and then I'll go. Yeah, it's just hit a lot of resistance. Let's open this one up. A lot of history from this price. There is a gap down there. Technically, that's a gap at 89. I mean, that was a buy signal on the 13th. Volumes are not great. It looks as if it's got legs. I mean, the weekly looks better. It's quite a tidy stock. It's a big box play, really, but it's not gone. So we're in the pandemic, we're down there at 68. Yeah, it's not gone a lot. It's not shot up. It's a bit of a steady eddy. It's got a promise. I can see what that's a fairly tidy stock, right? So you're it's between 95. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, if you're buying low with a stop underneath those lows, yeah, go for it. Volume is picking up. Brilliant. Well, thanks for joining me, guys. I'll get the recording out. So, I mean, just to sum up, the markets are attempting to hold after a very volatile time. Now, at the moment, as we stand with 2.5 hours to go, is picking up but knocking its head into this resistance. We've got 2 weeks of higher closes behind us. I think the real litmus test is this Nasdaq. If this Nasdaq closes above 11,000 today, that does bode well for the rest of the week. Mind you, we did that last Thursday, and then we fell back on the Friday. But yeah, if we can start really holding here, and the volumes coming in, and we can start closing on the upside of this 11,000, then we've got room to go. But in the meantime, this dollar index is still holding up. It's coming off the boil, but it's still high. All right, so just be careful out there. So I'm short that shoe zone. I've got some exposure to oil stocks and oil services. Couple of retailers. I do like that EasyJet. If you want exposure to the consumer market, then I think EasyJet could be the way in. Be careful. Be careful. All right. See you guys. Bye for now.